Welcome my family, and we got a day for you. Today is Authentic Thursday, and I have something that is going to maybe amaze you or intrigue you or really excite you like it excited me. We're going to do the Moroccan style tonight, so wait till you see what we have in store. Good evening, my family and friends. First of all, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here, especially for everyone who is new. Welcome to the family, y'all. I always have room for everybody. You will find that I am the person that steps outside of the box. We are a Mediterranean homestead, and I like to cook food from all over the Mediterranean Sea. So, with that, we are actually going to be working on homemade couscous. Y'all, here where we live in Mississippi, there's only one style I can basically find where I can use it for different recipes, and that is the large pearl. But sometimes that's just not the basic authentic way of couscous. Couscous is kind of a small pearly type grain. Now, to explain couscous, it can be replaced for rice. It's actually a pasta form, but it's not pasta. I guess this is hard to describe, but they basically use it in replacement of rice because in the sense of it, it's high glycemic but lower than rice, if that makes any sense. So there's several ways, and we are going to make homemade couscous, and then we are going to turn it into somewhat of a Moroccan dish. Now, the main ingredient that we're using here, now this is for those who fresh mill with me, we are using durum wheat. This is a pasta wheat. Now, I have not tried it yet, but leave it to me. I'm going to also try this with kamut, considering that kamut is the sister brand to pasta making. So durum and kamut, otherwise known as corazon, are both pasta forms. So I'm wondering at this point if I can make couscous out of kamut. Another thing that we're going to be doing, considering I am the one I told you that is outside the box, I have yet to see anybody do, is because kamut is also another form of pasta, I am going to be trying to attempt to make homemade pierogies out of it because my husband is a type 2 diabetic. He cannot necessarily have durum wheat, but he's been able to eat kamut. So we're going to see if I can make homemade pierogies out of this. If so, this would be a game changer because these are the things I was raised up in. Now, for those who are not milling, you are not out of this video. You are not out of this chance. The only other way I could get couscous is from Aldi's. The problem with that is it's a pre-made package, which means it is set up for garlic parmesan. It does not leave me room to make my own dishes out of it. So it's great if I want to have it as a side or something, but it's not what I'm looking for. This is why I'm making homemade. I really don't feel like going online anymore and keep ordering this stuff, and it's more expensive than it ever been when I could literally make my own. Now, you are going to need an hour and a half's worth of time. Now, back to those who don't have a mill. This recipe is for you as well. The only thing you're going to have to get your hands on is semolina. Now, when you are milling this, remember semolina. Semolina has a coarse like cornmeal. It is a more coarser than the double O flour, which is used also in pasta. Semolina is that one that you can sprinkle on your pan for your pizza. So that's the grain that we need. When you mill it, make sure you mill it to that semolina texture. You want somewhat of a grittiness to this. And if you are not milling, just get yourself some semolina, y'all, because you're going to be able to make homemade couscous just like I do. Now, couscous is also getting very expensive. The big pearls that I saw, I didn't even want that one. So doing this, I bought a 25-pound bag at Azure Standard, and now knowing that I can make my own, and what's even greater is even after I make this and I steam it to cook it, I can freeze it, which means I can pull it out and make many different dishes out of it in any flavor that I want to. Now, again, we're going to make this, and it's going to need about an hour and a half's time. This may be a slight long video, but it's going to be very much worth it, because sometimes authenticity brings some great quality you just can't find anymore. So after this, we're going to be doing a quick Moroccan dish, because I'm actually having Moroccan style couscous with salad for supper tonight. So it's going to help me in the long run. So without further ado, y'all, we got some work to do. Let's get started. Now, you are going to need semolina. You're going to need a big pan. Now I'm going to show you some of the equipment that I'm going to be using, because I do not have the round, large wicker plate that is normally used in South Africa or North Africa. And that's where it started from. And then it just went all over in various areas, Arabic and all these places as well, into the Mediterranean Sea. So they used this beautiful, if I could get my hands on that, that would be great, but I can't find one. But it's a great big round wicker type of plate. And when you roll your couscous on it, it just gives you that perfect rolled ball, small, tiny couscous. So what we're going to be using, I'm going to show you. You're going to need a nice strainer, and you're going to need a big pan or a very big plate. You want to have plenty of room to work with, because the process is going to be, we're going to form it, we're going to be, I'll take you step by step on this one, and then at the final end of it, we're going to steam it. So you're going to need either a steaming basket or to create a steaming pot using a strainer and a pot at the bottom, or a strainer and a wok. One of those, however you do this, you're going to need a strainer, because couscous in this case is steamed. So let's hit the kitchen. I am going to go ahead and get my semolina right now to my mill it up, and then we'll get started. Okay, y'all, so I have milled my couscous, well, semolina, my durum wheat, and I turned it into semolina. Remember, you want to feel this coarse. You don't want it powdery like really fine flour. You want it to be kind of on that verge of cornmeal. So if anybody knows what semolina is, you would probably know what that texture I'm talking about. Now I have 2 cups worth of semolina. This is going to make an awful lot of couscous, so use your judgment when you get excited about making this, y'all. I mean, if you're anything like me and get excited, oh my God, I can make couscous. And then you might go haywire and go, what am I going to do with all of this? Please know that this makes quite a bit of couscous. So I have 2 cups, and I will be freezing this, because there ain't no way I'm eating all two cups worth of couscous. So we're going to take it from there. Okay, my family, now comes the next step. Now you're going to need a clean bowl, because when we go to sifting our couscous, you want to put the couscous part back in here, and the flour is going to go back in here, so that we can keep making more until there's nothing left. The 2 forms of moisture that you're going to be able to need is either a spray bottle, which I will tell you this will take longer, and I will show you how to use both methods. And then you're going to need just like warm, lukewarm, not very hot water. Now, you're going to use that sparingly because we do not want to drench this couscous. Now, I will say that this one absorbs a little bit more if you're fresh milling it because it is fresh milled durum versus buying the semolina from the store because it's already been processed through. We have the bran and everything in this, so remember, this is going to take a little longer. So now what we're going to do is take our big pan and we're going to spread our semolina on our pan, just like so. And I may end up freezing the rest of this because this, like I said, is going to make me an awful lot. And I made a batch last night testing this out. Y'all, I had posted this on my Facebook and it went crazy. But I can understand why. I mean, to have the versatility of eating healthier and getting quality food is amazing. Now, this is not necessary, but it does help to spread it out. Now, the first method in moisturizing this is you could just take your spray bottle and make sure, don't do it too hard because it'll puff your durum everywhere. But as you can see, it's making this wet. However, you're going to have to sit here, and I will tell you, I tried this method and it will make your hands a little bit sore trying to moisten it down like it is. And then take it and roll it just like this. You're going to roll this into your hands, just making small little balls. Now, we do not want to make big clumps, y'all, so make sure you roll this. If they're starting to get clumps, roll it out, just like this. This is actually how couscous is really made in the Mediterranean. They still, to this day, make their own, and this is what they do. Or they will use that basket, which I wish I had, to roll it in, and this is all they do. So I don't want super big clumps, so if I see them, I'm going to pull them apart. Now the other method, which I'm going to do now since I've already started this, because this does take a while, they basically say you want your couscous about the size of an ant's head. Whoever knows what an ant's head is, I don't know, but it's a small size. So we're just going to take now this here. I'm just going to drizzle basically as much as I can. A little bit of water, not a whole lot at a time, y'all. And then we're going to come in here and we're going to roll this. Making sure that we do not get big clumps. If we see them, break them down. Sometimes that's hard to do. Just do the best you can. But this, y'all, is how couscous is made. This is all it is. And this is actually just pasta flour basically in water. There's no egg in this, just like you would make pasta. Only we're turning it into couscous. And couscous is a form, which many people don't know this, but it's not a rice. It's actually a form of a pasta like orzo. Orzo looks like rice, but it's pasta. And it is simple to make orzo. And I will one day show you that as well. If I'm going to go as far as showing y'all how to do couscous, I might as well show you how to make your own orzo as well. So that's going to be interesting and fun. Alright, so I'm at this point, and I'm just going through here, trying to break up as much of this as possible, because I do not want big clumps. Just like this. Now I'm going to go ahead and keep working at my couscous, and then I'm going to show you the next step after this. Okay, y'all, so now that I've got my couscous pretty much worked with at this round, we're by far finished, but we're going to turn around and now add what we have, this mix here, into our strainer. And then we're going to just strain out our couscous, because we're going to take the finer and redo this until we have no more semolina left over. And all we want left is this beautiful couscous that's hanging out here that won't go through. This is what we're looking for right here. Now some of this did get kind of big. It's inevitable sometimes to do that, but for the most part we have small semolina. And then I'm just going to take this into my bowl. I don't know if you can see this, y'all, but we have couscous right here. Now this is raw. It's not cooked yet, so we still got to cook it. So now that we have done this, we still have semolina left over, and this needs to be turned into couscous. So here's what I do is now I take my spray bottle, because this has been moist, and while I'm spraying, I am taking my hand and I am moistening our couscous all the way through. I want to keep this motion going without it clumping, to the best of my ability, just like so. And as you see, it's forming together. We just want to keep this rocking motion going, little at a time, moisten it without soaking it. And I just keep this going so I don't clump my couscous. And so that's all we're going to do until we reach the very end, and where we have all of our couscous made, and then I will take you to the next step. So this is basically how it's made, y'all. You just do this, you strain it, get down to your last morsel of your semolina that's made into couscous, and then we begin to steam it next. So I'm going to go ahead and finish off the rest of my semolina, turn this all into couscous, and we will be back. Okay, y'all, so our couscous is now made. Now we need to cook this. Like I said, we do have some pearls in here, but for the most part, can you see this? Y'all, this is literally couscous. This is so much fun. Now, I do have about another cup's worth, so I'm just going to freeze that for another time, because as you see, this has a lot of couscous that is made. So 1 cup, just so you know, makes an awful lot of couscous, y'all. But the good thing about it is once it's cooked, you'll be able to freeze this. Now, you're going to need about 40 minutes into cooking this, because we're going to steam it. Is this worth it? Absolutely, because I'm getting high quality non-processed couscous, y'all. To me, the flavor is phenomenal this way. So I'm going to now turn you around and show you the steam system that we're going to need and what you're going to use to cook this. Okay, y'all, so in the Middle East or in the Mediterranean, they have a specific type, and I don't know the technical names to these devices, but they have specific type of cookers to make couscous out of. And it's a beautiful system, like my special teapot from Turkey. However, we don't have that, so we're going to improvise for what we have here in the United States. Now, I am using a regular pot right here, and I have a bamboo steamer basket. So if you do not have this, it's still okay, because you can use a regular like a double boiler type of strainer. Just make sure that your strainer does not sit in water. You don't need it to sit, just rest up here. Now, to keep, this is not going to actually fit in my pot. So my kit came with a ring. And my ring basically just sits on the top of here, and then my bamboo steamer sits on top of this. So right now I'm waiting for my water to come to a boil. The other thing you are going to need, so that our couscous doesn't, because I'm sure you thought of how in the heck are we going to steam with this, which would have been a really good question. But it will make sense when you get a damp tea towel and you lay that inside of here. So we are going to steam it like this. Now the first round, well, we'll get to this slowly. I don't want to mess everybody up. So we're going to wait until this comes to a boil. In the meantime, I'm going to get this damp, and I'm going to line my bamboo basket with this, and we will be right back. Either I'm in tune with you, or I just hear your voices, because I thought I heard some of you ask me, all right, where did she get that bamboo? Y'all, it was from Amazon. It's nothing fancy. There's no fancy store I went to. I just went to what I could afford on Amazon. we do a lot of steaming our own vegetables, so this comes in handy for more than just making couscous. So I just went and invested in somewhat affordable bamboo basket, basically, or steamer. Mine's a double stacker, and it came with lining mats on the inside. But for this, I wanted to do more than just have the mats. The mats that come with it are cotton, and so you can place your vegetables and all, because they suggest not to lay it directly on the bamboo slits itself, which makes sense because you don't want that food absorbing in it. So long story short, y'all, it's from Amazon. So, and like I said, if you don't have one, you can't afford one, it's not going to stop you. There's other ways of doing this. So I'm the one who's going to improvise so everybody can enjoy home quality couscous, even if you're buying semolina. So let's get back to it. Okay, so those of you who are fresh milling your durum wheat like I did, while you wait for your water to boil, this is a good time, because this is when your water starts absorbing into your grains. Just like we do when we're making bread, we allow that time for about 5-10 minutes, sometimes 20 minutes, to absorb into our grain before we continue on to make our bread. The same aspect will be for here, but you don't have to set that long, extensive time. You're just doing this long enough to get your water to come up to a boil so it can create its steam. In the meantime, though, just like you did making your couscous, I'm going to show you down here, roll it between your hands just to keep it from sticking. Because this, at this point, while it's waiting to be going into the steamer, it's absorbing this liquid. So we don't want it to stick in one mass. So I'm going to show you that right quick, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Alright, y'all, so here's what I'm talking about. Is just gently roll this in your hands. Keep it in a circular motion, per se. You want to keep your couscous from forming that one massive lump. That is against everything that we're doing this for. So just keep moving it like this. Give it every once in a while. You don't have to do this constantly, but you just want to make sure that it's fluffy, basically, and still forming into that couscous method. We just do not want this sticking. And my water is just about to come to a boil, so we can take all of this and turn it into steamed couscous. Alright, so I can hear my water, so let's see where we're at. Okay, y'all, so it is time to now start to cook our couscous. Now I'm going to slowly add this all into my steamer. And you're going to need a timer for this, because we're going to do this in 2 type of intervals. I am trying to get all this couscous in here without it going everywhere, because it's so small. Just bear with me, y'all. Come on, we can do this. Okay. Yes, we got this. I don't like wasting. Alright, y'all. So now we're going to take our couscous. You're going to need a fork for this, too. You want to set your timer for 10 minutes. And if you have a second one, or just mentally keep note, every 30 seconds, you want to come in here with a fork, just like this. We're doing this uncovered. So I'm going to set my timer now for 10 minutes. And then my timer for 30 seconds, because I'm going to come back every 30 seconds for the next 10 minutes, and we're going to stir this up so it does not stick. So we're going to keep our steamer basket off at this point. We will be putting it on here after a while, though, so just know that. Now, I'm going to come back after I get my 10 minutes and every 30 seconds, which actually I'll show you what we're going to do here, because my first 30 seconds is just about up. Now I'm going to just take my fork and I'm just going to lightly run it through to fluff it up. This is all we're going to do. We don't need to do nothing fancy. Now, go back here, set my timer again, and just keep doing this for the whole 10 minutes. We will be back when this 10 minutes is up. See if I can get you guys to see. I'm going to get you a close-up shot up as much as I can to see if you can see the grainier look that it's starting to look like now since we started doing this. Yes, this is a process because we're doing this from scratch, but it is so worth it, I promise you. Okay, y'all, so we have gotten through the first 10 minutes, and every 30 seconds I was sitting there just puffing this up like so, just like this with a fork. Now, I am lightly going to spray mist my couscous. Now, you could, and we're going to put this lid on here. Now, we're going to set this every 10 minutes for the next 30 minutes. This is going to cook. Now, for 30 minutes, we're going to have the total cook time, but every 10 minutes, we're going to come in here and stir it and fluff it up. You can take the water base instead of just plain water. Most generally, what they do in the Moroccan or in other areas is they will actually season their water with onions and other various vegetables, and it incorporates that into the couscous. However, I'm not going that far because I'm going to be flavoring mine after the fact anyways. And pretty much we're making, after we're doing the initial cooking of it, we're pretty much making our own instant couscous in the end of it. So even if we turn around and freeze it, we can tend to add just not a whole lot because you don't want it soupy, of course. But you can add a little bit of liquid, like we're going to be adding some chicken broth to this. But I'm not going to use a whole lot of it. So now I'm going to go take care of the last of my farm work. And then I'm going to come back and I will take you through the 30 minutes. The first 10 minutes we're waiting on to go in here and stir it. This, remember, you want it covered at this point. So this is going to take 30 minutes total, but it's going to get all right, y'all, because this, I promise you, yes, you can order couscous for a couple ounces or whatever for about $6 to $7. But knowing that I have the fact of authenticity, I guess you call it, the fact that I have clean food, and knowing that I had the opportunity to make this myself, to me it's more valuable to go and put my hands in what God had so many years ago, and so that way just it's easy to order anything online. I want to be able to know my food and how it was started and how our ancestors many years ago did this. So I'm having that opportunity, and it's kind of fun for me to know that I have this opportunity, and that flavoring is amazing. So that's why I'm doing this, y'all. But and just in case, you know, sometimes we're living in hard times. So if we can get the opportunity to stock on certain things, whether it be wheat berries and we can mill our own semolina, or whether you buy semolina and you run out of couscous and maybe you can't find it or maybe you can't afford it, this is an opportunity for you to know, hey, wait a minute, Parton's Heritage Homestead, Carrie taught me how to make this. So there you go. I'm going to stop rambling, go get my work done. We'll be back 30 minutes and we're going to turn around and make our first Moroccan dish using our homemade couscous. Okay, y'all, so our 30 minutes is up. We're turning this off. Whew, steam is hot. Hold on a second. I'm going to take this lid off of here now, and we're going to take our couscous out of our pan. And we're going to bring it back over to the original pan, which we had started cooking with it. And we're going to let it cool off some because we're going to fluff this back up with our hands in just a moment, and I'll show that to you. So let me get this over in the pan and we'll be right back. Okay, y'all, so I've got it out of my cheesecloth or tea towel. Now I just want to kind of scrape it out because I don't want to waste any of this precious couscous. And we're just going to try to get all of this out as much as possible. That's the only hard part about this for me, but it's worth it. I mean, I'll do what I have to just so I know that I can get couscous. I don't want to technically keep ordering for stuff online because frankly I'm going through the process now some things I've ordered and, well, they won't get to my house, or they've lost my order now. So yeah, I just decided that I'm just going to learn how to make my own stuff and not have to rely on anything like mailing or a grocery store that just doesn't seem to have what I'm looking for. So now I'm just going to, ooh, that's hot. We're going to spread this out, let this cool off, and we're going to get ready to make this into a Moroccan style couscous dish. Y'all, this is, oh, it smells so good. And if you could see, I mean, we've now cooked our couscous right here. So this is exciting to me. All right, let me get this ready and we'll do our next steps. Okay, y'all, so now this is cooled off just enough so I can sit here and just do this again. And now, oh, this is perfect. Absolutely perfect. I am so excited. This is generally couscous. All right. So I am going to take a portion of this and I am going to freeze this. And then the rest of this, I'm going to set it out aside for me so we can make our dish tonight. This will generally, looks like it'll serve maybe 3 people. Depends on how much you want, but this would mostly be 3 to 4 people. And so I am going to portion this down for me and come back with our next recipe. Okay, y'all, so now we are going to make our dish. So I'm going to add about a tablespoon or so of olive oil. We're going to heat this up till it shimmers. Once it shimmers and it dances for me, we'll come back and we'll start cooking up this meal. Okay, y'all, so I'm going to have to adapt this recipe to the best of my ability because I am using couscous that is not instant like this recipe would require. So for those of you who are going to use the instant part of this, I'm just going to tell you the recipe. For the rest of you, I'm just going to do my variation to the best of my ability with what we have. So I'm starting out with 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and I am going to mix. The recipe calls for a 1/2 cup of chopped onions. I'm just adding just a little bit of some green and some purple onions, about 1/4 cup for me. We're going to saute this up now with our seasonings, and the seasonings are a 1/2 teaspoon of cumin, 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Now we're going to add all of this in. Now, naturally, I'm not using that much because I have maybe a cup's worth, maybe 1.5 cups of cooked couscous and not instant. So we're just going to, oh my goodness, the smell of this. Ooh, lordy, y'all, this is going to be good. Okay, so I'm just going to saute this up just a few minutes, basically until the onions are rather translucent. I'm also going to be adding some garlic in here, some fresh garlic. It calls for 2 cloves. Naturally, you know I'm not going to use that much. I've got maybe 1 clove because I do like garlic, so I have another one. I did it in half, so that'll fit through my press just a wee bit better. Now I do have this where I'm not going to burn my garlic, y'all. That's the last thing you want to do. Golden is fine, but burnt does not work. It turns it very bitter. So if you ever had dishes wondering why your garlic is bitter, you might have overcooked it too much. Alright, so we're just going to saute this up. Once we get this sauteed, we'll be right back. Okay, yes, in midpoint, I changed my pan. I'm crazy. I shouldn't have done that, but it's alright. So now we're going to add, now according to the instructions here, you're going to use 1.5 cups of couscous. Now mind you, that 1.5 cups for this recipe, which serves 6, is for the instant, most generally what you're able to find at the grocery store. However, we are dealing with cooked. So I'm going to start with about a 1/4 cup of broth in here, and I'm going to bring this to a boil. If I can add more, I will. If I don't need it, I don't want to add too much broth and not have that beautiful consistency I need and just have this sloppy mess. So I'm going to bring this to a boil. Once I bring this to a boil, we're going to add our couscous in here. And again, if it absorbs it all, then I can always add some more. I'd rather have not enough than too much, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to cover this right quick, and we're going to, that's not the cover I'm going to use for this in the end, but we're going to do that right now. So we'll be back. Okay, y'all, so now I'm going to go ahead and add my couscous. Now this ain't going to take us long because we are not using instant. We are already using pre-cooked. We're just basically adding flavors to this. So, and I have a feeling this is going to absorb all of my liquid, which is okay, because I have a little bit more. I gave myself leniency up to a 1/2 cup. However, we do not want a soggy couscous. We want a nice, moist, but not soggy. And actually, this looks like it's going to be quite good. So you see this beautiful, how this is looking, y'all. So now at this point, I'm going to go ahead and do a taste test because I'm going to see where I'm at for my liquids. Yes, this is my first time too doing this with all natural or homemade couscous. I mean, we can do our recipes here in the United States. We always get everything that's, well, instant. But we don't generally have fresh like this. So I'm going to one, like I told you all in the beginning, I step out of the box so I can do this. So let me taste this right quick. Oh my. Okay, just a little bit more, which that's basically what I have left. So I'm just going to add the whole 1/2 cup to this. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that flavor is amazing. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and add about a 1/2 cup of raisins. Now I'm using regular and golden raisins in here, and I'm going to mix this in with my mix. Now I'm going to turn this down to low because I do not want to cook this down too much. Oh, this is looking beautiful. And now we just need our fresh parsley. And I will be back so we can add that to this. I'm going to turn this off and set it aside, put a lid on this, and let this heat through. And we'll be right back. Okay, y'all, so now it calls for about a tablespoon of fresh parsley. So, and that's a preference. Again, add these ingredients to your liking. And that's it, y'all. This couscous is now finished. And I cannot wait to try this. So, let me go ahead and give you a close-up look. And from there, we are going to try this recipe and see what it tastes like. That's our close-up, y'all, of our Moroccan-style couscous. And now we're going to go ahead and give this a try. That looks so good. Okay, y'all, so we're going to go ahead and give this a try. This is what I'm having with my supper tonight, and I'm having a salad to go with it. Ooh, it's hot. I want to make sure I want to get some of everything in here, including these raisins. So oh my. And that will be the end of this one, y'all. You can add some chopped dates to this as well if you wanted to. I actually spent enough, so I didn't get the dates. This turned out still so amazing. And I'm absolutely going to enjoy this dish with a nice side salad for supper. Lightweight, healthy, Mediterranean style. Oh, and it's whole grain. Now, The reason we've done this is because many people really doesn't know where couscous comes from. And it does come from a wheat berry, y'all. But it comes from the pasta. Because couscous is another form of a pasta, as we just shown you. I hope you enjoy this, and I really hope you give this a try at least one time to make this fresh and homemade. I mean, I understand, y'all, this takes time. But to me, this is time worth taking, and if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do enough. As you've seen, I did mill up. Oh, y'all, I forgot one of my other ingredients that goes in here, and that's toasted almonds. I toasted my almonds and just forgot to put them in my dish, so I'm just going to throw these in here right quick. I can't believe I did that. Okay, so, oh my goodness. So anyways, if I'm going to make enough couscous, I'm going to make sure I mill up enough of it, and I'm going to put it in my freezer, because to me, this is far greater than trying to find something at the grocery store. I cannot find. Number two, with the price of everything these days, not everybody is also a Prime member at Amazon, so you got your shipping costs. And so, look, maybe you can find it cheaper and whatever, and that is great. So just keep it on hand, and then you'll have this recipe too, which I will put in the description box below. As far as the technique to this will not be in the description, so take notes, y'all. This was a process that would take forever to write down. This is the reason why I made the video instead, because I did have for my fresh grain or fresh milled group, many wanted to know how to do this, and those are ones. Thank you for being here with me. I am your out of the box Mississippi girl, y'all. I take grain and I do some weird things with it, so like making couscous. So I hope you enjoyed this, y'all, and like I said, give it a chance one time. And again, if you are not fresh milling and you don't have your mills yet, or you don't intend to, that's absolutely fine. You can get some semolina and make the same thing. It's the same process, y'all. It's that one's milled and one is actually processed, but they will both do what you need it to do. So I love you all. I am hungry. I'm fixing to make me something to eat, and we will catch you again. Much, much love from Parton's Heritage Homestead.